The galaxy had always believed itself too vast, too ancient, too populated for true extinction to ever arrive unannounced. Civilizations rose and collapsed, empires burned and reformed, stars were born and died, yet life continued its endless expansion across the spiral arms. Every species learned the same lesson in time: survival depended not on strength, but on cooperation. That belief became the foundation of the Interstellar Coalition, a governing alliance of thousands of worlds bound by trade, diplomacy, and a mutual promise that no civilization would ever face annihilation alone. That promise shattered without warning. Entire systems vanished from the network in less than a standard cycle. At first, it was dismissed as relay malfunction. Deep space storms, solar interference, unstable wormhole drift, routine problems with routine explanations. But when secondary relays went dark, and then tertiary ones, unease spread through the Coalition's command lattice. Automated probes were dispatched. None returned. Military scouts followed. Their transponders cut off mid-transmission, their final sensor data frozen in corrupted static. Panic did not erupt immediately. The Coalition had faced threats before. Pirate armadas, rogue machine swarms, even regional wars between advanced powers. None had ever silenced entire systems in totality. Not without residue. Not without debris. Not without distress calls. Here, there was only absence. The first proof arrived from a defense station orbiting a red dwarf on the frontier. Its recording arrays activated seconds before destruction, capturing fragmented visuals and partial telemetry. The images showed shapes eclipsing the star itself, vast biological constructs, armored in layered chitin and metallic composites, moving with impossible precision. Energy signatures spiked far beyond known reactor outputs. The station's weapons fired once. The response obliterated it. Analysis teams froze the frames, isolating patterns etched into the hulls of the attackers. Those patterns appeared nowhere in modern databases. Deeper archives were accessed, then sealed repositories, then forbidden vaults untouched for millennia. Only then did the classification appear. Apex predators. Civilizations older than recorded history. Nomadic exterminators. Hunters of intelligence. Entire species had vanished under their migrations, leaving nothing but stellar dust and broken myths. No negotiation. No assimilation. No occupation. Only eradication. They did not conquer worlds. They consumed them. Fear rippled across thousands of inhabited systems. Defense fleets mobilized, forming layered perimeters around major population hubs. Planetary shields activated. Orbital cannons powered to maximum capacity. None of it brought comfort. Historical models predicted zero survival probability for direct engagements. The predators evolved through eons of warfare, adapting faster than any known species. They were not merely stronger. They were inevitable. The Coalition Council convened in emergency session. Delegates representing trillions of lives crowded the quantum chambers, their species' physiological stress responses bleeding into the shared neural networks. Debate lasted less than minutes. Protocol demanded escalation. Allies were summoned. Ancient pacts were invoked. Military coalitions were requested. Strategic appeals broadcast across known space. The responses were immediate and devastating. Some civilizations refused to answer entirely, cutting diplomatic channels and retreating into isolation. Others responded with regret and silence. A few openly admitted their fleets would not engage. Their calculations predicted total annihilation. Survival, they argued, required withdrawal, not resistance. Entire regions of space began sealing borders, abandoning outer systems, sacrificing billions to buy time. The truth settled like a physical weight upon the Council. The galaxy was prepared to let them die. As predator incursions expanded, evacuation corridors collapsed. Refugee armadas fled toward core worlds, overwhelming transit lanes. Planets declared martial law. Economies shattered overnight. Faith systems splintered. Ancient prophecies were unearthed and reinterpreted. Panic consumed populations faster than the enemy fleets ever could. The Council exhausted every known channel. They transmitted across conventional space, folded dimensions, neutrino carriers, gravitic pulses, and quantum entanglement networks. Each plea carried the same message: extinction-level threat, immediate assistance required. Days passed. Then weeks. No reinforcements arrived. No alliances mobilized. The void remained silent. Finally, desperation stripped away protocol. The Coalition authorized a universal emergency broadcast, a forbidden act reserved only for civilization-ending events. The signal carried no encryption, no political codes, no territorial restrictions. It was transmitted on every frequency, every medium, every dimensional layer accessible to known physics. Its message was raw, direct, and stripped of diplomacy. We are under extermination. We require aid. All species. All forces. Any response. They did not expect salvation. They expected acknowledgement. Perhaps even shared extinction. Something to confirm that they were not facing oblivion alone. Instead, the broadcast vanished into nothingness. Hours passed. Then entire planetary rotations. No acknowledgements returned. No signal echoes. No quantum reflections. The galaxy had not merely ignored them. It had chosen silence. Resignation spread through the council chamber. Leaders began preparing final evacuation orders, prioritizing genetic archives and cultural records over living populations. Preservation, not survival, became the goal. Entire civilizations prepared to become memories. Then, at the far edge of sensor range, a disturbance registered. It was not a transmission. It was not energy. It was a distortion in space-time itself. A ripple moved through vacuum as though something massive had displaced reality. Gravitational fields bent at unnatural angles. Subspace layers compressed and twisted, forming transient singularities before stabilizing. The anomaly lasted less than a second, leaving behind no trace except corrupted sensor logs and a lingering echo in folded dimensions. Astrophysicists reviewed the data in silence. No known species possessed such technology. No known propulsion system could generate that magnitude of spatial compression. The disturbance did not match predator signatures. Nor did it align with any known natural phenomenon. The Council ordered deep spectrum analysis. Every observatory, every listening array, every quantum anchor was tasked to monitor the anomaly's coordinates. Nothing followed. No signals emerged. No vessels appeared. The distortion faded as if it had never existed. Some dismissed it as sensor error. Others called it false hope. Most refused to acknowledge it at all. Hope had become dangerous. Yet far beyond Coalition territory, on a world classified as hostile to life, the emergency broadcast had not gone unanswered. It had been received, decoded, and escalated. On a planet where tectonic instability, predatory megafauna, and catastrophic climate extremes shaped evolution, the signal triggered protocols buried beneath continents and oceans alike. Planetary defense grids awakened. Orbital arrays rotated from centuries of dormancy. Vast shipyards hidden within asteroid fields ignited fusion for the first time in generations. Deep within Earth's military command vaults, alert statuses reserved only for theoretical extinction scenarios activated in unison. Humanity had heard the call. And it had begun to move. Humanity had never trusted the quiet of the universe. From the moment they first reached beyond their atmosphere, they understood that space was not empty. It was patient. Their homeworld had taught them that survival was not granted, it was seized through constant struggle. Earth was a planet of crushing gravity, violent storms, unstable tectonics, and relentless biological competition. Life evolved under pressure, and so did the minds that guided it. Conflict shaped their history, disaster hardened their resolve, and extinction had always felt close enough to touch. When humanity finally encountered the wider galaxy, they were labeled immediately Deathworlders. The classification carried unspoken fear. Their biology was considered extreme. Their endurance exceeded most species by orders of magnitude. Their pain tolerance, recovery rate, and psychological aggression thresholds unsettled even hardened military observers. More disturbing still was their history: thousands of recorded wars, planetary-scale conflicts, and technological arms races fought not for dominance, but survival. Humanity had never known peace without preparation. The coalition welcomed them publicly but isolated them strategically. Trade routes bypassed their systems. Military cooperation proposals were quietly declined. Intelligence sharing agreements were limited. No species wanted humanity near their borders, not because they were violent, but because they were unpredictable. Their war doctrines did not emphasize deterrence or stalemate. They focused on termination. Human diplomats noticed. Human strategists adapted. Earth interpreted isolation as a warning. Their scientists projected thousands of threat models, most ending in total annihilation. Their historians knew the pattern well. Civilizations that believed themselves safe were the ones that vanished first. Humanity resolved not to become one of them. Preparation began in silence. Shipyards were constructed inside asteroid belts, shielded behind gravitational anomalies. Entire moons were hollowed and converted into fabrication complexes. Deep ocean trenches became reactor vaults and weapon testing chambers. Research facilities were buried beneath continental plates, protected from orbital surveillance. The work proceeded for generations, hidden behind layers of civilian expansion and commercial development. While the galaxy watched Earth grow economically, humanity armed itself for extinction. They engineered propulsion systems capable of compressing space itself, folding reality around their vessels to bypass distance. They built reactors that fed on stellar mass. They developed armor systems designed to absorb gravitational collapse. Their weapons abandoned conventional energy limits, tapping into dimensional instability, controlled singularities, and relativistic kinetic force. Every system had one purpose: eliminate threats faster than they could adapt. Earth's military doctrine evolved accordingly. They did not plan for victory. They planned for survival after catastrophe. War simulations assumed worst-case scenarios as baseline. Entire fleets were designed around enemy superiority, not parity. Humanity trained to fight losing battles until they stopped being losses. Their greatest achievement remained unseen: the Extinction Response Fleet. Thousands of warships spread across multiple hidden sectors, each one constructed to operate independently if command structures collapsed. Their capital vessels dwarfed anything the galaxy had ever fielded. Entire squadrons functioned as autonomous extermination units, capable of executing planetary sterilization protocols without external authorization. The galaxy believed humanity weak. Humanity believed extinction inevitable. Then the signal arrived. Deep space listening arrays embedded beyond Pluto registered a multi-band broadcast anomaly. Its structure indicated emergency priority, layered across every known communication medium. The message carried panic, desperation, and collapse. Automated threat analysis flagged it instantly: extinction-level event. Within seconds, global defense networks activated. Orbital platforms emerged from stealth. Planetary shields locked into high-energy configurations. Naval shipyards initiated full assembly cycles. Subterranean command complexes transitioned from dormant readiness into full operational command. Every major city received classified alert packets instructing population stabilization and emergency rationing. Human leadership convened in silence. No debate occurred. No political friction surfaced. The message was clear. Something was exterminating civilizations. Humanity had prepared for this moment. The Extinction Response Protocol unlocked. Deep space vaults opened, releasing fleets that had not seen starlight since construction. Gravitational catapults hurled armored leviathans into orbital assembly formations. Entire battle groups synchronized through quantum entanglement, their navigational arrays plotting multidimensional jump paths in real time. Across Earth's systems, humanity's true military footprint emerged. Thousands of vessels aligned in perfect geometric formations, each one bristling with weapon arrays capable of collapsing planetary cores. Capital ships positioned themselves at the center of vast carrier constellations, their hulls layered with reactive armor kilometers thick. Automated drones filled the void between them, forming defensive lattices capable of intercepting relativistic strikes. Command authorization passed down through secured channels. Mission parameters uploaded directly into fleet cognition cores. The directive was singular: locate, engage, exterminate. Humanity did not attempt diplomacy. They did not request intelligence. They did not seek confirmation. Their history had taught them that hesitation only multiplied casualties. As final preparations concluded, spatial compression engines began charging. Reality warped around the assembled armada. Gravitational fields spiked. Subspace folded inward. Entire star systems dimmed as energy reserves were redirected into jump infrastructure. From the perspective of distant observatories, space itself seemed to inhale. Then humanity vanished. The fleet translated into folded space, riding compressed dimensions toward the coordinates encoded within the alien distress signal. Their transit occurred beyond conventional perception, bypassing light speed limitations and relativistic drift. For the first time, a civilization built for survival beyond extinction moved toward open war. In transit, tactical simulations updated continuously. Enemy profiles were extrapolated from minimal data. Biological vulnerabilities were mapped. Energy dispersal patterns analyzed. Potential adaptive responses predicted and countered before engagement even began. Every human vessel operated as both warship and research platform, collecting real-time data from subspace distortions and cosmic radiation shifts. Their doctrine demanded total battlefield comprehension before first contact. They would not be surprised. As the fleet closed distance, sensor ghosts began appearing, disturbances consistent with massive biological structures moving between systems. Enemy formations were already expanding, carving extinction paths across inhabited space. The calculations confirmed coalition projections. Civilization ending scale. Human commanders acknowledged the assessment. Engagement priority escalated. Weapon systems shifted from standby to pre-fire alignment. Planet killer payloads unlocked. Dimensional containment fields stabilized. Entire fleets entered synchronized combat readiness. Humanity was no longer preparing. They were arriving. And when the fleet breached folded space, they did so as a unified front, their emergence engineered to overwhelm perception, gravity, and fear itself. The galaxy had believed itself alone. The predators had believed themselves apex. Both were about to be corrected. Coalition defense grids were collapsing faster than predictions had allowed. Entire planetary shields failed under sustained assault. Predator fleets advanced with cold efficiency, their living warships consuming orbital infrastructure and tearing through evacuation corridors. Every minute added billions to casualty projections. The galaxy's combined military power was unraveling before something older, faster, and infinitely more ruthless. Then space itself fractured. At first, sensors reported gravitational turbulence. Then dimensional shear. Then impossible spatial compression signatures flooded every detection array simultaneously. Stars bent. Light warped. Subspace folded inward as if reality were being crushed between invisible hands. Across dozens of systems, navigational beacons malfunctioned, orbital mechanics destabilized, and planetary tides surged without explanation. And then they appeared. Not in waves. Not in scattered emergence. Entire armadas tore through folded space in perfect synchronization, materializing across key strategic corridors in absolute formation. Thousands of warships locked into position with mathematical precision, their arrival generating gravitational shockwaves that rippled through entire star systems. Coalition sensors overloaded instantly. Energy outputs exceeded all known reactor classifications. Hull mass readings surpassed theoretical construction limits. Weapon emissions saturated electromagnetic spectrums, rendering standard targeting software obsolete. Every analysis algorithm returned the same result: impossible. The Predator fleets reacted first. They pivoted toward the newcomers without hesitation, unleashing biological energy weapons in devastating barrages. Plasma arcs and gravitic ruptures tore through space, powerful enough to crack moons and destabilize stars. Against any known force, the attack would have meant instant annihilation. The human shields absorbed the assault without visible degradation. Layered gravitational barriers flared, dispersing incoming energy across multiple dimensional planes. Kinetic impacts vanished into compressed spacetime. Bioplasma strikes scattered like mist against hull plating kilometers thick. Not a single vessel altered formation. Not one returned fire. Coalition command networks erupted into chaos. Their tactical AIs struggled to interpret what they were witnessing. Fleet commanders froze, uncertain whether they were seeing reinforcements or the arrival of an even greater extinction force. Communication channels filled with overlapping distress calls, strategic recalculations, and fractured emotional responses. The predators did not hesitate. They surged forward, swarming the newly arrived fleets with overwhelming numerical superiority. Entire armadas converged, biological warforms merging into massive composite structures designed to breach even planetary-scale defenses. Still, the human formations did not shift. Their vessels advanced slowly, deliberately, maintaining perfect spacing. Sensor arrays rotated. Weapon housings unfolded. Vast armored segments separated and reconfigured, exposing weapon systems the size of continents. Coalition scientists finally identified the newcomers. Humans. The revelation spread across command lattices in stunned disbelief. The isolated Deathworlders. The politically marginalized species. The civilization considered militarily irrelevant on the galactic scale. Yet what emerged from folded space dwarfed every known fleet combined. Human capital ships alone matched entire planetary defense grids in mass and output. Their carrier formations deployed autonomous drone clouds numbering in the millions. Each drone carried payloads capable of core detonation. Their battleships mounted spinal weapons designed to fracture planetary mantles. The predators struck again. This time, human commanders responded. The order transmitted across the fleet was singular and absolute. Fire. Space detonated. Directed singularity weapons collapsed predator formations inward, crushing living hulls into gravitational implosions. Relativistic mass drivers hurled dense core projectiles at velocities approaching light speed, piercing biological armor and converting warships into expanding clouds of superheated plasma. Dimensional shear cannons sliced through composite fleets, severing their cohesion and scattering fragments across vacuum. Entire predator squadrons ceased to exist within seconds. Their adaptive systems attempted countermeasures. Hulls reconfigured. Energy dispersal patterns shifted. Biological reactors surged to compensate. Human targeting algorithms adjusted in real time. Weapon frequencies modulated. Impact vectors recalculated. Kill ratios climbed exponentially. Coalition fleets halted in place, unable to comprehend the scale of destruction unfolding before them. Systems that had resisted for months fell silent in moments. Predator armadas that had annihilated civilizations were erased without measurable resistance. The humans advanced. Their formations shifted seamlessly from defensive alignment into full assault vectors. Entire battle groups folded into strike wedges, punching through predator territory with surgical precision. Supply nodes, command vessels, and breeding carriers were systematically annihilated. For the first time in their recorded existence, the predators attempted tactical retreat. Human fleets pursued. Across multiple systems, space became a graveyard of organic debris and collapsing energy fields. Predator warforms self-destructed rather than face capture. Their ancient hive networks fragmented under sustained dimensional interference. Command coherence disintegrated. Coalition analysts realized the horrifying truth. Humanity was not fighting a battle. They were conducting extermination. Entire predator civilizations vanished under coordinated human assault. Their migration corridors collapsed as star systems were destabilized. Breeding worlds were sterilized. Hidden reserves were located and destroyed through long-range dimensional scans. No sanctuary remained. Human commanders issued no threats. They broadcast no declarations. They made no attempts at negotiation. Their fleets moved with relentless efficiency, executing annihilation protocols refined through centuries of theoretical extinction planning. Where predator armadas had spread terror, human warships spread silence. Within hours, the strategic landscape of the galaxy had rewritten itself. Coalition defense grids stabilized. Refugee corridors reopened. Planetary evacuation efforts halted. Entire civilizations watched in disbelief as extinction retreated before overwhelming force. Yet all quickly turned to unease. Human formations dwarfed coalition fleets by orders of magnitude. Their tactical movements displayed coordination beyond any known military doctrine. Their weaponry operated on physical principles barely understood. Humanity had not arrived to assist. They had arrived to end the threat. Predator resistance collapsed completely when their primary command nexus was located deep within a black hole-adjacent system. Human fleets deployed gravitational anchor platforms, stabilizing the region long enough to unleash concentrated singularity barrages. The nexus imploded, tearing the Predator hive mind apart across multiple dimensions. The remaining Predator fleets disintegrated into disorganized remnants, hunted down and erased within standard cycles. For the first time in recorded galactic history, an apex extinction force had been defeated. Not repelled. Not contained. Eradicated. As the final Predator signatures faded from coalition sensors, silence returned to the void. Not the hollow silence of despair, but the heavy stillness that follows cataclysmic change. Coalition command networks remained saturated with unread data. Military analysts struggled to process casualty figures that defied comprehension. Civilian populations across thousands of worlds stared at feeds showing human fleets dominating entire star systems. Fear replaced relief. Because the galaxy now understood a terrifying reality. If humanity possessed the power to annihilate predators older than civilization itself, then nothing in known space could oppose them. And humanity had arrived not as saviors. They had arrived as the ultimate answer to extinction. The war ended before most of the galaxy understood it had truly begun. Human fleets did not slow after the Predator command nexus collapsed. They accelerated. Strike groups split into autonomous extermination formations, sweeping outward along every projected migration route. Hidden reserves were located through dimensional resonance mapping. Breeding systems buried inside stellar nurseries were sterilized with precision gravitational implosions. Entire Predator supply networks disintegrated under coordinated temporal disruption attacks that unraveled biological command cohesion at its source. There was no battle rhythm, no ebb and flow. Human forces advanced in a continuous wave of annihilation that erased resistance faster than it could reorganize. Predator counteroffensives collapsed mid-deployment. Ambush formations were detected before execution. Even suicidal mass charges failed to breach layered human defense lattices. Coalition observers watched as extinction itself was dismantled in real time. Every engagement followed the same pattern. Predator fleets surged forward. Human vessels absorbed the initial assault. Then space detonated under precision-controlled violence. Singularities crushed organic hulls into gravitational dust. Dimensional shear sliced through composite organisms as though they were vapor. Relativistic mass strikes converted kilometers of living armor into expanding shock fronts that sterilized entire orbital regions. No wreckage remained. Human weapons did not destroy. They erased. The Predators adapted, as they always had. Hull geometries shifted. Energy absorption matrices thickened. Hive coordination accelerated. Biological reactors surged beyond safe limits. Entire armadas fused into colossal warforms designed to overwhelm even planetary-scale defense arrays. Human targeting systems recalibrated instantly. Their algorithms predicted adaptation curves faster than biological systems could implement them. Weapon frequencies modulated. Impact vectors realigned. Gravitational pressure thresholds escalated. Each evolutionary attempt ended in total structural collapse. For the first time since their species emerged, the predators encountered a force that evolved faster than they did. Fear fractured their hive networks. Fragments of ancient memory resurfaced within their collective consciousness. Forgotten warnings echoed across neural command webs. Long-buried extinction patterns reappeared. Civilizations older than themselves, erased so completely that even genetic echoes had vanished. The predators finally understood. They were not facing prey. They were facing something that had been waiting. Their final stronghold formed around a neutron star cluster whose gravitational chaos distorted space into lethal tides. The region was considered impassable. No known vessel could navigate its violent space-time currents. The predators believed it inviolable. Human fleets entered without hesitation. Dimensional stabilizers anchored reality itself, suppressing gravitational turbulence. Navigation systems recalculated trajectories across fractured space-time layers. Entire armadas threaded paths through collapsing physics, emerging inside the heart of the predator refuge. The final engagement lasted less than 3 minutes. Human capital ships deployed planet-cracking singularity arrays. Controlled micro-black holes detonated across orbital space, consuming composite fleets and cascading gravitational implosions. Dimensional cannons ruptured command vessels across multiple planes of existence, severing hive-mind coherence entirely. The predator civilization ended in silence. No broadcast. No retreat. No survivors. When human fleets finally powered down primary weapons, vast regions of space had been converted into gravitational dead zones and sterilized voids. Star systems once teeming with biological warforms now contained nothing but drifting molecular remnants and cooling radiation echoes. Coalition command networks attempted to process casualty projections. Their models failed. The scale of annihilation exceeded computational frameworks. Entire civilizations older than recorded galactic history had been erased so completely that nothing remained to quantify. For the first time, the galaxy faced a power beyond comprehension. Human fleets reassembled into defensive formations around coalition core systems. Repair drones deployed. Shield networks stabilized. Emergency logistics convoys began restoring damaged infrastructure. Refugee corridors reopened. Planetary evacuation orders were rescinded. Medical support armadas arrived above shattered worlds, delivering reconstruction platforms and autonomous relief units. Humanity transitioned seamlessly from extermination to stabilization. Coalition leaders struggled to reconcile what they witnessed. Their greatest fear had been extinction. Their new fear was far more unsettling. Power. Humanity had demonstrated the capacity to erase ancient predators. No fleet, no alliance, no empire could challenge such force. The political foundations of the galaxy shifted overnight. Treaties lost meaning. Defense doctrines collapsed. Strategic deterrence ceased to exist. Humanity became the final variable. Coalition representatives formally requested communication. Human command accepted without ceremony. Their transmission was brief. The predators are extinct. Your territories are secure. Reconstruction assistance is en route. Defensive oversight will remain until regional stability is restored. There were no demands. No ultimatums. No political conditions. Yet the message carried a gravity no threat could match. Human fleets did not occupy worlds. They did not seize territory. They did not impose governance. They positioned themselves at strategic gravitational nodes across coalition space, forming a silent network of overwatched platforms capable of annihilating any emerging existential threat. They became the galaxy's last defense. And its final warning. Coalition civilizations struggled to adapt. Their philosophies had centered on balance, cooperation, and shared vulnerability. Humanity shattered that paradigm. They embodied unilateral survival. They represented preparation taken to its absolute extreme. Fear slowly gave way to understanding. Humanity did not crave dominance. They feared extinction. Their entire civilization had evolved around that single truth. Every war, every disaster, every collapse in their history had reinforced the same lesson: survival was never guaranteed. It had to be enforced. The galaxy had avoided that truth for millennia. Humanity had embraced it from the beginning. In the weeks that followed, coalition archives were rewritten, strategic models recalibrated, educational doctrines updated. Humanity's existence forced every civilization to confront uncomfortable realities about complacency, vulnerability, and the cost of peace without preparation. Across thousands of worlds, memorials were constructed for species that had vanished under predator migration. Their names were etched into orbital monuments orbiting shattered stars. Humanity contributed vast cultural archives, reconstructing fragments of lost civilizations from recovered data. They remembered what the galaxy had forgotten: that extinction was always closer than comfort allowed. When reconstruction stabilized and predator remnants were confirmed non-existent, human fleets began systematic withdrawal. Their armadas folded back into compressed space, vanishing as abruptly as they had arrived. Only a minimal oversight presence remained, positioned far beyond inhabited systems. Humanity returned to silence. Yet the galaxy no longer perceived that silence as emptiness. It was vigilance. Because when extinction had screamed into the void, only one civilization had answered. Not with mercy, not with diplomacy, but with absolute finality. And the galaxy understood, at last, why Deathworlders were feared. They did not fight to win. They fought to make sure nothing ever threatened existence again.